most out of our cohort. I want to thank you all for joining us today. Before I begin, I want to show you around a little bit. If you haven't had a chance, please head to, if you're listening to this recording, listen to the recording first and then head to the Lesson 1 room. If you go into the Lesson 1 room, every single day there's going to be a lesson or a live session, and this is pinned in the room. So if you actually go to the room and you click on the big old pin that is in there, we'll be having our lesson or whatever live session that we've had that day. Sometimes there's even multiple lessons. This cohort is going to move so fast. There's going to be so much going on. That's why you see so many people say like, oh, this is my second, my third or fourth time going through Create, Publish, Profit. I'm going to have to mute some people who are coming in. Apologies about that. Make sure your mic is muted when you come in, guys. And make sure, well, if you can hear me, you already know how to turn the volumes up. So make sure you head to that Lesson 1 room, watch the pinned video. Every single day around, I would say 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern, there will be some kind of new lesson posted. Sometimes it might take a little bit longer than that, but just be patient. There'll be a lesson coming on every single day. And I want to point out that the lounge, we have a lounge in this community. That is where we can have like a lot of our conversation that you guys have been doing. Like some of you have been like, hey, how's this trip? Or you want to socialize? We have a lounge for that. And we have a whole bunch of other supplemental rooms that we will be opening during the course of the cohort. Anyway, I'm excited. I've got a lot of great accounts with me. I bet the accounts that are on here, I bet there's, I'd say maybe 2 million followers. Save Your Sons, how are you doing today, buddy? How many followers do you think all of us have, all of the mods and all of the people inside our community?
Oh man, I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. And I don't know, probably, yeah, I'd have to add them up between 1.5 and 2 million probably.
Yeah, 1.5, 2 million. Save Your Sons is doing the heavy lifting for us there. He's got over 500,000 followers. But
I just crossed 800,000 across all platforms, which was a milestone I was excited about.
oh, that's fantastic, my man. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations to you. 800,000. He's got half of our 1.5 million. Good thing for us that Save Your Sons is going to be teaching lessons on how to grow on social media. Every single one of the mods that I have with us is an expert in their field. When I put Create, Publish, Profit together, that was my goal, is to find the best of the best of the best and get them all together. And this is an experience that is unlike any other. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to introduce all of the mods, and I'm going to have them tell a little bit about their Twitter journey. The first one up is Mr. Save Your Sons. Mr. Save Your Sons, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you got started on Twitter?
Yeah, I'll tell the abridged version of the story. And everyone here who's listening, you can call me Harrison. Harrison at Savior Sons, whatever. I'll I'll respond to all of it. I'm down here in South Carolina. I'm walking along the beach, so if you hear some wind or waves, even some cars as I get off the beach onto the road, that's what it is. But I started the Save Your Sons brand back in summer of 2020. It was peak COVID lockdown, and it was a couple months after our first son was born. And a lot of the dads, if you're a dad listening, you know the feeling when you're about to welcome your first baby. Our wives get really into what they call nesting, and they build the nursery and they make sure everything's perfect. They want you to paint the walls and put the cribs together. And most men that I've talked to have a similar thing that happens to them. But for me, it manifested itself around the legacy that I wanted to leave for my kids, how I wanted to be a dad, how I wanted to be as a dad. And the first thing I started doing was just writing down life lessons that mattered to me as a soon to be father. When I was a young man, things that helped me get through my 20s and get what I wanted out of life. And I decided to start posting them on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I started posting these things on Twitter, and they really resonated. And of course, I hooked up with AOP. I hooked up with a lot of the other mods in here, and we all started sort of talking about this stuff together. Like, well, why does this certain type of post perform so well? What is it psychologically that makes people interested and want to engage with this versus this other type of post which doesn't. And we just get really obsessed with the metrics and the psychology and the analytics and what was happening when you sent something out there on social media and got a reaction from people. And because of that sort of deep level of obsession, and also I think because I was fortunate to sort of stumble upon a brand that really resonated with people, it grew really, really quickly. And so here we are, here, I get to be a part of a co-host like this, and a business that really, really matters to me, and I think it's going to help a lot of people, and life couldn't be better.
I love it, my man. I love it that you're on the beach. All right. So, and I love that you're living the digital nomad life, like kind of right now. You're like out on the beach while you're actually doing it. You ought to take a picture of the beach for us and send it to us in the lounge. Like take us there, teleport us there.
I'll get one. I'm on the road right now. I'm one road up from the beach because I don't want to get. I don't know how good the service would be, but I'll get one. I'll send one to everybody.
I love it, my man. I love it. All right. So I want to introduce our next mod. His name is Eddie Kwan. He has been with us since the first cohort. I'm really happy that he was able to join us. He is an email marketing expert, and he's going to be teaching lessons that are going to teach you how to monetize your Twitter and how to build your email list, because it is so, so, so important. Eddie Kwan, how are you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, doing great, man. I'm actually just catching up with the messages because I posted this morning. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to CPP, and my internet hasn't been very good today, so just popped in and overwhelmed with the number of responses. It sounds like we've got a lot of interesting brands coming up, a lot of interesting niches, and yeah, I'm super excited for this round. I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you and to see every round we always get some sort of unique brand or handful of brands blow up. So interested to see who's going to blow up this round.
I love it. I love it as well. Eddie, can you tell us a little bit about why you got started on Twitter?
Yeah, I have a more of a, I guess, conventional online business background. So before I got onto Twitter, I was doing freelance copywriting. So specifically emails, and the way you get clients as a freelancer is you have to go out and you have to find them, right? You have to join freelance communities. You have to cold email clients. You basically have to like go out and like fend for yourself and find clients. And around that time, I was sort of looking. I was on Twitter, but I wasn't creating content. I was just sort of lurking and learning from people. And I was following like a bunch of people. I was also using Twitter to follow the news. And I started seeing this little corner of what we call money Twitter appear on my timeline. And I started to see people build a personal brand for themselves, build their own audiences, build their own websites, build their own email lists. And that appealed to me because as a freelancer, I was, I was making okay money, but there was one thing I didn't have, which is leverage. And that's, to me, is the biggest value of having an audience, is you have that leverage to multiply your message, multiply your sales, multiply your income, and basically make money without having to go and find clients. And that really appealed to me. So I wanted to build my own audience. I wanted to start like have my own email list and have my own offers and have my own products. So that's what I did. I saw a bunch of other accounts that were starting on the same journey. So guys like Lawrence King, guys like well, he was a bit more established, but Ed Lattimore, Alexander Cortez, people like that who had, you know, who either grown your audiences or already had an established audience. And I started paying very close attention to the type of content they were putting out and how they were building those audiences specifically on Twitter. So I started my brand. I was a little hesitant to put my name out there at the beginning, so I started with the anonymously as War and Weakness, which is still my handle to this day. And over the last 2 or 3 years, when I first started, I had something like less than 100 followers. I now have something like 140, 149,000. I never thought I would get to this point where I'm at now. Like I remember when I was starting out, I would see accounts with like 20,000 followers and think, oh my God, 20,000 followers, I will never get there. So it's kind of crazy to think that I have over 100,000 now. And that's not to toot my own horn, by the way. That's just to show you what's possible when you are consistent, when you apply the lessons that you're going to learn throughout CPP and you stick to it. Okay, that's one of the big lessons that we're going to be teaching you is to be consistent. You can, get this thing that I was looking for 3 years ago, which is leverage, right? When you have your own audience, when you have your own email list, when you have your own offers, when basically people come to you because you are the expert, you are the brand, and you are able to really build a real business around this brand, whether it's as a personal brand or as an anonymous brand. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. Now that I am an established brand in the space, I help coach people like you guys, which I thoroughly enjoy, and yeah, that's where we're at.
I love it. Thank you so much for Eddie bringing his wisdom to our community. I'm looking forward to his lessons. All right, so I've got another mod that I would like to introduce. We have another mod named Sana. Now, Sana is a little bit different. The next two mods that I'm going to introduce have actually been participants in past CPPs. Now, I believe this is our seventh Create, Publish, Profit. We've been doing this for a while now, and what happens is some people come back so many times and they'll message me and they'll be like, hey, can I do XYZ? Sana messaged me and was like, hey, we should have more of like emphasis on more of a community aspect. I listen to feedback during this cohort, and I always take feedback and put it in the future cohorts as well. I not toot my own horn, but I do a pretty good job of that. Sana came to me and came up with the idea of doing community sessions. She'll be doing a couple community sessions with our group, community meetups with y'all. And she's also presenting a lesson this weekend on how to find your niche. I know so many of you, came into here wanting to find your niche. But anyway, Sana has been in our cohort since day one. She signed up, enrolled again, and then became one of our mods and one of our partners. Sana, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I
Uh-oh.
am very excited. You can't hear me. Let's see.
Sana,
Now.
you sound like a robot. There you go.
Can you know?
All right.
Robot. There you go. Right.
Is that better?
Uh,
Is this a little bit better or no?
I had to mute you. Something's up with your mic, Sana, and I'm getting a lot of feedback from your. You just got a migraine. Is it really bad on you? It's not too bad from my side. You just got a migraine. Sana, your mic is messed up. Can you maybe take a look at your mic? Maybe switch it out. If you go to your boom, make sure it's on the right output device. Oh no, sorry guys. Let me see what I can do. It's all right. This has happened before. Discord is funny sometimes. I'm going to kick the mic over to our friend Ben Carlson, which is a similar story as well to Sana. Ben Carlson has been with us. He joined with like a few thousand followers. He kind of had an account that wasn't gaining a lot of traction at the time. He joined CPP and put a lot of effort into his account. Ben, how are you doing today? Ben is going to teach you how to... Ben, your lessons are really interesting. It's more along the lines of like how to control the media or how to get the media to work for you. If you don't know Ben, he worked for The Atlantic and he's a journalist for a long time. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Welcome to CPP. And yeah, I'm an alum of the program. If you have audio problems, just up on the chat, but no bad signs so far. So I have been a journalist about 15 years altogether, and currently I'm not working as a journalist. I do have a 9-to-5, which I'll leave aside for now, but I'm a comms professional, and I spent years with a small Twitter account, half-heartedly working on it as an extension of my work, and then about a year ago, I decided to get serious about it, to build my own audience and to build influence. So that's been more my focus, and some of the work that I've done since then is focused on influence and specifically getting attention from influential people and influential accounts. This session, I'll be looking at, one, how to make the media work for you. So that's how to get your ideas published in media, how to get featured in media, just peeling back a lot of the misperceptions that people have on how the media works and how to make it work for you. The other is on how to cut viral videos, and this is not an advanced course. People who know a lot about video will not need to know any of the techniques I'm going to offer, but it's more the tactics and strategy of the content behind it. And I've had some pretty breakout posts on the video front. So when I joined, again, I had about maybe 3,000 followers, and now I'm at 52,000. And I'm just thrilled to be here and sharing what I've learned with all of you.
I love it. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited that you can be here with us, Ben. Really appreciate all that you do for us. All right. I want to kick it. Sana, have you changed your mic out? Is everything better with your microphone? No, this is not working. Nope. I think it actually got worse. Wow. Sana, restart your computer. That is a great suggestion. That is a great suggestion. You need to restart your computer. Yeah, I know that you're going to figure this out, and I know that you're trying, and I appreciate you working your best here. All right, so we've got quite a few people with us today doing this session. What I would like for each one of the mods is to come up with some kind of tip for all of our new users, thinking about either, what's the biggest tip that they can do to get started on Twitter, or actually let's have this question. What is the one biggest tip that you would tell all of our members who are in CPP? How can someone get the most out of our program, out of the next 30 days? Save your sons. What is the one biggest tip for the people who are in CPP?
Yeah, my biggest tip, and I go with a kind of a variation on this every time. But my biggest tip is I'm not going to just say you need to network, because you do need to network, but it's way more complicated than that. If you just were out there saying, like, I'm going to go make some friends today, you're going to wind up more likely than not, with a bunch of people who are messing around on Twitter, not taking it seriously, never getting anywhere, and just kind of blowing off steam from their 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to instruct everybody to do is, yes, network, but do it with a level of intention that you would say for the most important thing in your life, because that's what this is, the most important thing in your life. If you're serious about building a substantial business online, a substantial brand online that'll allow you the freedom to leave a comfortable 9 to 5 job, then you have to take it really seriously, and you have to be surrounded by other people who take it just as seriously. And there has to be a level of obsession, like I was hinting at earlier, about how do you do this thing? How does this work? And so many people I see starting out, they'll say, well, it's really humid here. That's why I'm out of breath. And I'm also probably like 5
This is great.
pounds
This is
overweight
great.
from being on vacation for 2 weeks. But the biggest mistake I see, or one thing I see from people starting out all the time, is they just say, I don't have any skill. Like, I don't know what skills I have that I could market. That's when they're trying to monetize, and they just say, well, I don't know what I can do. I don't know anything. I don't know how to sell. I don't know about digital marketing or e-com stores or email lists or landing pages. I don't know any of that stuff. They're with the wrong people, first of all, and they've downloaded this mindset that is the opposite of what you need to succeed. The best people understand that they are never finished. You are never finished. When I started, I had no idea how to. AOP says this all the time. I was almost the exact same as him. We didn't know how to even write a tweet when we started. We didn't do that. Like, yeah, you can post it in this box and hit send, but we didn't know what to say. We didn't know how it worked. We didn't do that. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to create an offer. I didn't know how to create email sequences with calls to actions and what to put in my calls to actions and how to write copy. I had to learn all of that stuff as I went along. And if I hadn't been around the right people who were not tolerating any sort of complaining or any sort of woe me or taking too long attitude from the people groups that I was in, if I hadn't been around people like that, then I never would have been able to do it. I would have 1,000 times over. So yes, network, but do it with the right people. Vet your network vigorously so that you're with people who are taking this seriously, giving the level of intent that it deserves, because this is the most important thing you're doing. If it's not, I can invest in CPP. I mean, everyone here paid a good amount of money to come learn from us. That means you're taking it seriously. So find other people who are too, and it makes you that much more likely to win.
Yeah, I think that a lot of I'm gonna quickly be able to like tell like I could just people who if that just hit home with you, you're gonna make it. Like I cannot stress how important this is. I'll put it to you guys like this. When I started my account on May 8th of 2020, I did not even know how to write a tweet. I am not even joking around. Like I had never written a tweet before in my life. I knew nothing about digital marketing, zero experience in marketing, zero experience in copy. I didn't even know what I didn't even know what a copywriter was. I thought it was a joke. I thought the term was a joke. I was a public school teacher for 20 years and a musician. I tell my story in the lesson one chat and the lesson one video, welcome video. But I learned everything on my own. So did Save Your Sons. I met Save Your Sons when he had 15 followers on Twitter. And we had no clue what we were doing. I didn't know what a quote tweet was. I had no clue. I started doing follow for follow at the beginning stages because I literally had no clue what I was doing. And you're like, I didn't take any, I figured every single thing out on my own. Now, what I want to say is I like what you're saying about the networking is because the people that you surround yourself with truly are the people that you are going to become. And I don't think people can understand the gravity of what we do, Save Your Sons. I actually might ask a follow-up question to you in a second. Like, for instance, I have a master's degree in education. I was a public school teacher for 20 years. And because I started a Twitter account and really focused in on, the business aspect, the analytical aspect of it, building an audience, networking and talking with people and growing alongside with other people, I was able to leave a job that I had worked for 20 years and I make 10 times the amount of money that I do now that I used to. All because I was willing to work and figure things out on my own. Do you feel the same way as well, Save Your Sons?
Yeah, I mean, look at everything we have. Everything we have, the courses, the digital real estate, the website. I didn't know how to do real estate. I didn't know how to do that. and so many people are like, well, so many people get stuck there. Like, man, it's day one, like a website. Okay, maybe you do, maybe you don't. That's debatable. But if you do need one, you sure as hell better figure out how to do it by yourself. The worst thing you could do would be on day one is, I'm going to spend $1,000 to build a website. Because then what are you going to do when the damn thing breaks? You have no idea how any of it works. You need to understand how everything in your business works. You need to be able to take it apart and put it back together 10 different ways. And if you can't do that, then you're selling yourself short, and you're more likely than not surrounded by the wrong people. I still am a member of a few groups that I just don't participate in. Group chats are really important, by the way. We'll talk a lot about those. It's basically what the lounge in CPP is. But I have a few group chats that I still sort of lurk around in that I joined way back in the day. That are the opposite of what I'm talking about. So if I joined them back in 2020, it's been almost 3 years now. There are people in those group chats who started at the same time as me, been doing this the same amount of time, and they have absolutely zero to show for it. Because what are they doing in those group chats? They're saying, they're getting the little pre-dopamine burst of, well, I got this idea for a drop shipping store that I'm going to try. And everyone in the chat's like, yeah, man, that's awesome. And then they never freaking do any of it. They never do it. And they'll be like, I got busy work and start it. And then 3 months later, they'll be like, I got this other idea. I'm going to do like a print on demand for merch. And everyone's like, yeah, that's a great idea, man. Do it. Go for it. And then they never freaking do it. And 3 years later, they're sitting there having made zero money, as frustrated as ever at their 9 to 5. And God forbid if they have a family, then they've been wasting all this time on Twitter that they could have just been spending with their kids. So if you're surrounded by people like that, that's the biggest red flag that I can possibly think of. You have to have it's the entrepreneurial attitude, the entrepreneurial spirit, a willingness to roll up your freaking sleeves and figure it out. If you have that willingness and you understand that you need to be around other people who also have that willingness, you're going to make it.
I love it. Save Your Sons, man, you are an inspiration, and you always get me fired up. You get me so fired up, bro. And that's why I love talking to Save Your Sons, because he brings me energy, right? And I'm actually going to talk about this in one of my future lessons next week, guys, about your consumption, what you consume, the people you surround yourselves with is a form of consumption, guys. It is. And the way I feel is I only surround myself with people who bring me energy. I only consume content that brings me energy. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's take a look at Eddie Kwan, my man. One big tip to the newcomers here, my man. You've been an instructor in here for a long time. Love what you do. What's the biggest thing that someone can do in Create Publish Profit to get the most out of it?
All right, I'm going to give you guys two tips, one specifically for CPP and one on Twitter. Let's start with CPP. So the best thing to get out is the best thing you can do to get the most out of CPP. Sounds very obvious, is just to be as involved as possible. So consume every lesson, show up to every live call, try and build relationships with all the people that you vibe with. I think that's really the secret to quote unquote networking, is just to stick to. I only quote unquote network / build relationships with people who I vibe with. Okay, and that's something that you'll get a natural sense for. Don't do it. Don't try and brute force your way to build this network. Just look around you. You're going to naturally find certain accounts that you just vibe with. You enjoy their content. They enjoy your content. They're on the same path as you. Like there's this synergy that's going on there. Reach out to those people, build relationships with them, because that's going to be the biggest. That's really the number one asset you guys are getting out of CP. The fact that all of you have invested into this program, that goes to show automatically, regardless of what your following size is when you first join, regardless of that follower count, you guys are all equals here. Like the fact that you've invested in this program shows that everyone in here is a higher caliber of a person. Okay, so take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. CPP is in and of itself is a quality filter, and that the people in here are way more serious about their entrepreneurial journey and about building their brand. And so take advantage of that and network with the people around you. But yeah, going back to my point on CPP, the best thing you can do is to get, like I said, just to show up to every call, attend every lesson, post tweets when we do these ghostwriting sessions. Just show up and take advantage of all these resources and actually use them. Because what happens, what I've noticed is, having done I think 6 or 7 of these, is that the ones who are the most successful, they are the ones who are the most consistent, and that's true in every single round. Every single round, we always get like 4 or 5 star players who got the most out of the program, and that's because they put the most into the program. So that's my tip with getting the most out of CPP. In terms of getting the most out of Twitter, lead with value. I know like that's something that a lot of people say, and something that was said to me when I was starting out, and something that I personally overlooked. Okay, when I look back at all my older DMs and all my older Telegram chats, it's actually amazing. Like all the relationships I've built now that are like people with like massive accounts, massive brands, guys like AOP, guys like Harrison, guys like Dan Coe. Like I used to like just chat to them and just give them free game and free advice, because we were just like a couple of like nerds basically trying to figure out this Twitter thing. Okay, and we would just sort of like jam it out. And so like I always I always took that extra step and extra effort to give value to those guys, with no expectation that it would come back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like 3 years on, we all have these massive brands, and we help each other out now. Reason why I have that leverage is because I led with value. I led with that mindset of I'm just going to help people out as much as I can. And when you do that, I'm a huge believer in karma. It will come right back to you. So take that into consideration, and if you apply both of those things, like you guys are going to crush it in CPP.
I love it, Eddie. Eddie already bringing the value, and such candid conversations with Save Your Sons and Eddie. I absolutely love it. I like a comment that Tatiana put in the group chat. I'm reading all the comments in there. Tatiana says, action takers are the money makers. Sounds like a tweet, but I 100% agree. I can tell you right now, and I've worked with well over thousands of people on Twitter. either going through our cohort, community, or one-on-one, the most successful people that I know on this platform are the ones that take the most action. They don't make excuses. They just do. They do. I'm going to tell you why, Tatiana. The reason why the action takers make so much more money. Not only do they make they get so much more done, because they are learning through experience. And what I mean by this is somebody who does twice as much learns twice as much. Now, somebody who's sitting there like, oh, I got to make sure that this is perfect and this is right, or this, I have to get completely perfectly comfortable before I write any of this. No, you just need to get out there and do it. Because that's where you're going to get, everything is market feedback in a way. Everything is feedback. Everything is a learning experience. So the person who's doing is twice as much is learning what they need to do twice as much. So that makes all of their future actions, which they're going to do twice as fast, twice as more effective than the person who's just sitting there. That's why Save Your Sons has group chats that he's still in. He should leave those now. I think he's above that, but he's probably sitting there cracking up looking at these guys who are sitting there who started 4 or 5 years ago who haven't made any progress because they're too afraid to take the first step. That's really what it comes down to. All right. Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to kick the mic to Ben Carlson, my man. Hope we'll try Sana in a second. We'll try Sana in a bit. But Ben, how are you? Well, we already asked how you're doing. What's the one biggest tip that you can give to everybody who's in CPP?
Such great tips so far, and a few of them overlap. So I'm going to pivot to ones that haven't been covered, and I'll borrow from Eddie's framing, one for CPP, one for Twitter. So for CPP, listen to the feedback you're getting. Listen to the market feedback in general on the timeline. But in my experience, I came in more of an introverted type person, not wanting to lead with a brand that was too me focused. And the feedback I got from AOP right off the bat was golden. It was essential. And so everybody here is already, I think, performing at a high level just by having made this investment, as others have pointed out. But we're also still learning, and the feedback you're getting from this group is one of the most valuable things you're going to get. So if something's not working for the people, the mods that you hear from here, take it seriously. Think about it. And I would then emphasize, and be different. But do it in that order. Listen to the feedback first, and then embrace the things about you and your style and what you have to offer that are different. But first and foremost, listen to the feedback you get here. Second, for the timeline as a whole, I think finding your whales. This is something I did early on, and it really accelerated my growth and my journey. Find the accounts that are big in your niche, your universe, except the wonderful mods. The wonderful mods are, of course, people that you're going to follow and look up to and want to learn from. But think very specifically about what sort of content and what sort of brand you're building, and then identify the most influential accounts for you. And this will be covered in some of the materials. But I just think about that right off the bat, because my growth was aided by Scott Adams. He's got his own reputational issues, but early on, a few big accounts looked at mine timeline, decided they liked what I had, and gave some big attention and retweets that helped me establish who I am today online, and also helped me to grow. So I think those two things: be humble, and then also think about who can give you the highest quality attention for your desired audience. Those are my 2 tips.
I love it. Such great conversation we're having so far. Sana, how are you? Did you work out the microphone? Are we going to hear a robot, or are we going to hear Sana? This is Sana's voice reveal.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it was resetting the computer.
It's
Oh
all
my gosh,
good.
that was crazy because you guys were saying the output stuff. I was like, that's all fine. It just needed a good restart. Thank you, Richard. Hey, hey everyone, I'm so excited. tell you to ask questions. So there's going to be times where you will get stuck because the biggest thing that gets in the way of a beginner is some mental obstacle. It's never really an outside obstacle, it's always a mental obstacle. And because you have like those mental obstacles, the best thing you can do is just talk it out with somebody. And so if you can ask questions to your peers, if you can ask questions to your mods, anything that would allow you to get over those mental obstacles is going to get you back on your momentum. And the strongest thing that you can build here in the next 30 days is building momentum for yourself. You definitely don't want to be one of those guys or girls who just says things and never does it. And I think talking it out and holding yourself accountable with whatever's going on inside and just being honest about that, that is going to help you get a ton out of the lessons here. And especially, I know a lot of you guys have niching problems. I'm here for you for those niching issues if you need it. The second thing I'd say for Twitter, if you want to get the most out of Twitter, I probably tell you to network a lot and help your friends. So there's going to be times where you're going to make friends here and you're going to be able to support one another on sharing tweets, right? And coming back and reading them and liking them and engaging with them a little bit. And that helps everybody at a beginner level just get a boost. But if you want to build relationships that are going to go beyond all of the tactics that you can use to grow on Twitter, build really good relationships here, and by retweeting or by engaging and sharing your perspective on what people are saying, maybe give some feedback if you need to. I think all of that is really, really, really going to help you grow on Twitter. Some of the relationships that I've built here in CPPs, some of the strongest ones are actually because I was supporting them, they were supporting me. And come, I don't know, a year or two later, we're still having chats in the DMs. We're still, wondering how everyone is doing, and just on a level, like on a personal level too, because that also matters. So I would probably say those are the two biggest tips I'd say to get the most out of.
We lost Sana. That was that was an abrupt way to lose. There she is. She's back.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, was I talking and nobody could hear me?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going. You were on a roll.
Was I? Okay. I don't even know where I stopped. So I literally stopped and then it just came live again, I guess.
That's fine. You were talking about your biggest tip.
Yeah. So the biggest tips, just to repeat it, is the ask questions from your mods and your friends here that you're building, and then to get the most out of Twitter is to build relationships by engaging with each other's posts, because these relationships will go beyond the game of Twitter and beyond CPP, and you guys can check in on each other on a more personal level. And I think that is the best part about Twitter.
Do you all see some of the similarities between what all of the mods are saying, y'all? Do you all see what they're trying to say? By the way, I want to mention that the easiest way to get in touch with me, and you can get in touch with me at a one-on-one level, is through Telegram. So if you message me there at creation247, it's the same as my Twitter handle. You can message me there. A couple of you reached out to me already. If you just got like any question, concern, feedback, or just want to say hi, feel free to message me there. I put priority on that because I don't even look at my Twitter DMs, guys. Somebody messaged me on Twitter and I was just like, I get hundreds of DMs on Twitter. I don't read 99% of them. So yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm going to put Red on the spot right now. Red was in our spring cohort. She's back for a second time. Thank you for joining us again. What's one big tip that you would give our freshman CPP members?
Oh gosh. Can you hear me? Are we
Yeah.
good with audio?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. We've just had so much audio problems. I was half expecting to also be in Limbo. I would say that specifically for the students, I think that AOP mentioned this earlier, which is to keep up with the content that is being posted in the CPP. If not daily, then at least every week, just do a check-in, because the amount of data ramps up real quick. And if you let it fall to the side, then it will become overwhelming. There is a lot of information here, and um, there might be some stuff that you already know, and maybe there's a lot of things that you don't know. So be mindful of that as you go through the entire CVP, because there is going to be a lot of information. But I think that one of the most important things is to be active with the community and actually show up to the events. I find it so I guess a little disappointing when you see that there are a number of students and uh, and some of them don't show up to the events, and I'm like, well, what? Why are you here? There's so much value that's being given, especially if you are able to show up to the live events. I know that they're recorded, but there is a lot of value of engaging with the other students, and that also that also floods over into my tip for Twitter as well, which is to be engaging and be active on the community, because that's the number one way to grow on Twitter, is to have an active network. So it isn't just about putting content out there every single day and publishing, but also to meet other people and to provide value to other people and create that community. So that's my number one tip for both students in CPP and then also for creators on Twitter.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us for another round, Red. I appreciate it. I hope that all of you learned something from here today. If you haven't, make sure you're going to that lesson one room, taking a look at that pinned video, and tell us a bit about yourselves. I have a little bit of time to chat with every single person right now. So if you want to throw some questions in our group chat, feel free to ask us about anything that you would like. A couple of the mods do need to run, but I'm going to be hanging out for a little while. I've got a fresh cup of coffee here, and I'm able to talk with y'all. So if you want to have a question about anything about CPP or anything about Twitter in general, I'll be more than happy to answer your question. I do want to say one thing I want to point out to you is make sure that you go to the events. The most important tab on this server is the events tab. The events tab that is right there. Click on that and then click interested on every single one of the events. It will tell you the times of the events in your time zone. Okay? It will tell you the events in your time zone. And one of the really cool features is these little 3 dots that are right there. This will add them to your calendar as well. So if you click on that, and let's say you use add to calendar, Google Calendar or Yahoo, Outlook, whatever it is, you can add them automatically. So click interested, take a look at what the times are, even if you can't attend. Now, I get it, like Red's right. Like, you're going to get more out of it if you attend to the live sessions, but I make this for a worldwide audience, and we have people from all around the world. I think somebody said they were in Nepal, and it was 2 a.m. right now. They're about to head back to the States, but that's soldiering through it. And I try to schedule these at times where everybody can get to them or come to participate. All right, so I've got some good questions coming in. By the way, I'm going to put a recording of this inside, and I'm going to leave some of the notes for our session inside the lounge. I'm actually going to put this one in the lounge because there already is a lesson inside of the lesson one room. All right, so the first question that's come into me is from Adam. Thank you so much, Adam. Should I launch a new account for this course? This is one of the most common questions that I get asked. I'm actually going to let Save Your Sons chime in on this as well. I can't answer that question for you, Adam. This is something that you're going to have to do. I have people start brand new accounts just for this cohort. It is smart for some people. I've had people like Ben Carlson come to me, though, with kind of dead accounts. Ben Carlson, Tom Harari, they came in and joined CPP. They kind of had like dead accounts, and they were like, should I restart my account? And I was like, well, it's up to you. The question is this: what kind of engagement are you getting on your tweets? When you tweet, is it completely dead? Are you getting like, let's say you have 1,000 followers. Is it getting like 5 likes or 1 like and nobody's seeing your tweets? And maybe you started an account back in 2008 and you have 200 followers. If that's the case, I would say, yeah, you should probably start a brand new account, because you don't really have 200 followers. You really have like maybe 10, because most of those people are probably gone. All right. So I can't answer your question for you. You have to take a really hard look at your account, and you have to, use your noggin and try to figure out, should I go for fresh new followers and start from scratch, which is hard, or should I revitalize my account that has a lot of dead engagement, which is hard? They're both hard. Save Your Sons, what would you recommend for this?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it's a sliding scale of factors. There's all kinds of different things that matter that factor into it. But at the end of the day, take a high level look at it. 90% of the time, maybe even 95% of the time, if you're asking yourself the question, should I restart? There's probably a reason. Because nobody's asking themselves that question if their account's bumping. And
Yeah.
it's growing.
I've never asked myself that question.
Well, maybe I should start over. So if you're asking yourself that question, there's probably a good reason. It's probably dead. It really is. And I've seen people, we had clients, one-on-one clients who had a dead account with 3,000 followers. And I said, start it over, start fresh. And they gained 3,000 back in less than a month, sometimes even less than a week, depending on how hot their threads were out of the gate. So if you're asking yourself the question, it's probably a good sign that thing's dead. It's not coming back. I mean, think about it. What people don't factor in also, is AOP alluded to, is follower atrophy. So the people who followed you a year ago, if you had 100 people follow you a year ago, there's probably only 20 of them that are still using that account. I mean, people start new accounts, they leave Twitter, they never come back, but they don't stop following the people that they're following. They don't deactivate their account. So it looks like there's a number beside your name of somebody following you, but there's not really ever anybody there. Another helpful metric that you can look at is look at now that views are right there on the tweets, it's really easy to do this. You don't need to go into your analytics or anything. How many views are you getting on your tweets? If you have 1,000 followers, are you getting at least 10% of your followers viewing the tweets that you post, that you aren't boosting in engagement groups or anything like that? Post them out to your timeline. Are you at 10% of your following seeing the tweet? If so, okay, maybe that's a slight check in the column of, we'll think about keeping this account. But my hunch is it should be way under that 10%, which just shows that there's a lot of inactive, unengaged followers there. So if you're asking yourself the question again, there's probably a good reason. And I always say, bet on your freaking self. Bet on yourself. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? You start a new account. We'll never counsel anybody to nuke the old account, by the way. You can keep the old account. Just start a new one from scratch. Starting from scratch is a freaking blessing. A blank canvas is one of the most beautiful things in the world, because you can do whatever you want with it. And so bet on yourself. Start over. Start fresh. Get that new account creation date, which is crazy good for social proof, and just launch it. Just see what happens. That's what I would do.
I love it so much, my man. You got me fired up. I'm about to delete my account right now. I'm going back from zero. This is great. Okay, let me take a look at somebody. Man, we got a lot of questions. This is really cool. I'm going to try to do my best to answer all of the most pertinent ones. Tim says, would you recommend only engaging with Twitter accounts from tweets from people in CPP that line up with your niche? The answer is no. You're here to make friends, okay? And from that perspective, you're kind of coming at it like real transactional. I engage with a wide variety of accounts even to this day, and I have a wide audience, especially when you're getting in the early stages. People aren't paying that much attention. So if you're like, I don't know what your niche is, but let's say that you're talk about wealth, all right? Can you still retweet a fitness account? Yeah, the answer is yeah, because they both have to do with personal development, right? Look for commonalities. And your goal is to meet the right kinds of people. People flip niches anyway down the road. Make connections. Focus more on that. With recent changes, is it essential to have Twitter Blue? The answer is yes. Okay. If there is one thing that I would tell you guys to get, wait till after your profile's set up. Okay. Wait till after the profile lessons and you make all your changes, because if you get Twitter Blue and you get verified and then you make a change, it's a real pain. You know, I've been wanting to switch off of the Elon Musk from the General's outfit, and it's like, oh man, if I do that, I would lose my Twitter verification. How bonkers would that be? So, which would mean I'd take a hit on engagement. And so make sure your branding is all in the right shape, and then do that, and then get Twitter Blue 1,001,000,000%. I've got two questions right here that are the same question from Seborg and this is an anonymous account from K. So is it better to create a front-facing account with you at the forefront, or an anonymous? Or K has a question: do you recommend an anonymous account or a self-brand? Save Your Sons, what's your take on that? Anonymous or not anonymous? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm so tired of it, and I'm not, whoever asked this question, this is not a knock on you, but I'm just so tired of this false dichotomy. It's either anonymous or it's not anonymous. No, it's either a personal brand or it's a brand. You're thinking about it all backwards. If you're thinking, oh, it's anonymous versus non-anonymous, it's a brand or it's a personal brand. It's freaking Coca-Cola or it's Tony Robbins. So first of all, think about yourself bigger. I'm not an anonymous account on Twitter. I've created a business around a brand, Save Your Sons, that has a really important mission that resonates with a lot of people. I just happen to be the founder of that brand and that business. I am not Save Your Sons. I'm the CEO, founder of the business. So don't think about it like, oh, I have to make this really hard decision on whether or not I'm going to be anonymous or not. That's such a small mindset, limited worldview. It just really bugs me. If you can't tell, when people are like, I got to decide you're not anonymous versus non-anonymous. You're running a business, and you have to decide if you want to be the face of that business or if you want the brand to be the face of that business. So first of all, think about it like that.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's still a decision that you have to make. So it is still a decision. I just want to reframe the decision. It's not around anon versus non-anon. That is so it's just so small time. We're building big things. We're building big important things, and no one says that T-Mobile is an anonymous business. It's just a freaking brand, and it has people that run it, and they just are less at the forefront than if they were running a personal brand.
I always think it's funny, Save Your Sons, where it's like, oh man, I have a personal brand. That's so much better than the anonymous account that's out there. Guys, I sling 50 to 80K per month on this platform. Okay. You can make money both ways. It has to do more with your content creation abilities and your abilities to network and, make things action and take action. So it has being anonymous just pick the one that you're most comfortable with, right? The reason why I decided to be an anonymous brand was because I was a public school teacher at the time. And I was basically like anonymous brand, and I was a public school teacher. I just wanted to grow. I wanted to grow based off the validity of my ideas. I never once mentioned I had a master's degree in education, or I never tooted my own horn. I have a lot of accomplishments in life, but I never tooted my own horn about what they were on my timeline. So what I do want to say is just pick one. Pick the one that you're most comfortable with and go in that direction. There's no right or wrong answer. Some people want to be anonymous because they like their privacy. Some people don't want to be anonymous because they want to put their name. They want their name to be famous. They want people to know their name. And that's what you're doing. So Save Your Sons, any other thoughts that you have on anonymous versus personal brand, or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, personal brand versus brand. I mean, the anon thing just bugs me so much. I'm not freaking anonymous. Anyone who wants to talk to me can talk to me, can meet me.
Yeah.
It's usually reserved for people who've paid for the privilege. But yeah, don't get caught in the trap of thinking. A lot of influencers will tell you like you have to have a personal brand if you want to ever make any real money.
Oh my God.
That's also wrong, completely wrong. I mean, I don't have a personal brand and I make lots of money on Twitter. AFE doesn't have a personal brand. He makes lots of money on Twitter. He has a strong brand. We have strong brands, and that's what matters. And one thing I'll say, if you are wrestling with a decision, which I do, because I don't want to belittle the decision. It's still a decision. Do you want to be public or not? Because if you do grow to 500,000, 1 million followers, which hopefully a lot of people in here will, then there's going to be a day, if you're public facing, where you no longer have the level of privacy that you once had. So it is an important decision, and that's how you have to approach it. So how much do you value that privacy? What does it mean to you? And what would it mean to you if you went to the grocery store in a year and you had to stop and talk to 5 different people because they freaking recognize you? And if you don't want that, but you're also thinking big, then I would lean toward you don't need to necessarily put your face all over everything. And you can still be public. You can still do podcast appearances on video. You can still record videos of yourself. But you build a brand around the brand, not around your face and your name, so that it's slightly more under the radar that way. So that's how I think about it.
Some people are doing it wrong here. They're like telling us, I'm going to be just pick one, guys. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong answer. Okay, just pick one. There is no you know, I can't make that decision for you because there's so many factors. Okay, all right. So got a question here. Below 500 followers, is it better to focus on commenting and retweeting big accounts, or is it better to focus on comment and retweeting big accounts versus creating original tweets? You need to be doing both. Okay. Now I'm going to have you're going to want to go through that Ultimate Beginner's Guide or Create 24/7. You know, we'll have modules that are based off of exactly how to play it at certain stages of the game that are going to be coming up. So I don't want to go like too into it, but you need to generate traffic towards your page, but you still need to post every single day. You need to be posting every single day on this platform. Save Your Sons, have you ever missed a day on this platform?
One time when I got food poisoning and I was hugging a toilet for 48 hours straight while everyone else in my family did the same. And one more thing on the anonymous versus anonymous thing.
He's going on.
Hot button topic for me. So I saw somebody mention that I'm an author, so definitely personal brand for me. Why? Why definitely personal brand for you? Okay, and think about it like this. Now, I don't know what kind of books you're writing. I don't know what kind of author you are. But here's an example. J.K. Rowling. That's a personal brand. Very valuable. She's a billionaire. That's great. So no one's arguing that she doesn't have a strong and a valuable personal brand. But what I would argue is that freaking Harry Potter is way more valuable. The words Harry Potter, the brand around Harry Potter, is way more valuable than the brand around J.K. Rowling. So depending on what kind of author you are, don't be so quick to say, I gotta do a personal brand because I bought a course that costs $100 and somebody told me I had to do that. No. If you had this great idea for an IP, freaking Peppa the Pig. Peppa the freaking Pig sold for $4 billion. $4 billion. Nobody knows who started that. Nobody knows. They could have started it on Twitter instead of whatever they did, built it the same exact freaking way, and sold it for $4 billion without a personal brand ever getting involved. So I just want to be really caution people to be so steadfast on, like, I heard this from somebody, so now I have to do it this way. Think about what you actually want and let that drive your decision.
Ooh, that's what I was saying. So, like, sometimes when I get these questions, it's like, well, what do you think I should? Well, you got to reflect on.
Yeah,
like
I don't know what you want. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. All right. So we got a question right here, and I hope I don't skip any. If I miss your question, you can always just send me a message on Telegram, guys. Don't take it personally. I'm just getting so many, which is awesome. I really enjoy this dynamic where you guys are very active here. So I hope I'm saying this right. Saborg. He's got I think it's a Borg because there's a robot there. Does the Twitter algo penalize you for deleting old tweets? No, the answer is no. I'm just going to answer that as quickly as possible. Kay is asking, does video and images do better than normal tweets? Yeah. So, like, you know, and I sent an email out about this a couple days ago. There is a boost to tweets that have images attached to it. I don't do videos. Ben Carlson does videos and he's doing a lesson on that. But I mean, like here's the real factor. Like you can sit here and think like, I'm gonna do every smoke and mirror trick. Like I need to. If I have an image, my tweet's gonna do. Sometimes I'll work with a client and they'll send me a tweet and it'll have like the worst image attached to it. That's gonna destroy the engagement to it. And like, you know, they'll go like, well, you told me that if I attach an image to a tweet, it'll get 2 times the engagement. And I'm just telling them what the open source algo says. That doesn't mean you're going to get 2 times the engagement. You may get 1/10 of the engagement. If the image has nothing to do with the tweet, then it's not a good tweet, right? So you do images, and does that suit your personality? Are you good at posting images? Are you good at posting engaging videos? If not, then just stick with text. We have a friend, Kevin, the transformation coach. Some of his most viral tweets of all time, and I even sent an email about him about how he used what we did in CPP as the foundation for his 50K business. His best performing tweets of all time do not have any images to them. So, you know, does it fit? If it fits, if it works for you, you can't smoke and mirrors everything. You need to write content that is so engaging, people are compelled to hit like and retweet. That's what you need to do. Okay. All right. Let's see some. Ryan says, should we have all the reading materials completed ASAP? Just go through it at your pace, Ryan. Just go through it at your pace. If you want to go through, and he's talking about the resources room. In the resources room, if you head there, there's the Ultimate Beginner's Guide, 101 ways to write a tweet, create 24/7. Just go. It's a library. It's a treasure trove of knowledge where you can take a look at what we have and just go through it. And whenever you're ready, if you have some time today or tomorrow, you know, just absolutely, you know, try to make your way through that at some point. All right. Some good questions. If I missed your question, feel free. I had to save your sons. I actually had to mute you real quick because I was while I was talking. But go ahead, man. You wanted to add to us?
No, I know. Sorry, man. I forgot to mute myself, and there's freaking trucks and stuff running past me. Real quick, on the algorithm. This is the most important thing you need to know. Forget about images or videos may give me a boost. Forget about all those, like AOP called them rightly, smoke and mirror parlor tricks. They might give you a tiny little boost, but not enough to make a difference. Here's what matters. The only thing you need to know about the algorithm, this is what matters if you want to get pushed and shown to new people. How much time do people spend engaging with your content? That's it. That's the only thing. How much time do people spend engaging with your content? Now, that's why videos help, because if you have a 1 minute long video that people watch till the end of, then they've been sitting there staring at your content for a minute, and that's an hour and a half in social media time. So how much time that's why threads do so well, because people click through and they read all the tweets in the thread, and they might post a comment, or they might go read the comments. That's why question tweets do so well, where people want to see what other people have answered. So they spend a lot of time engaging with the content and the things under the content. That's what matters. So create content that keeps people stuck. Create content that keeps people on their phone staring at what you put there. And that's the only algorithm hack that you need.
So in Create 24/7, it's really subtle. I tell people ultimately your page should become a forum. Okay. I want you to think about this in your head, guys. Even if you're not there, I want you to remember this for when you're a 10, 20, 30,000 follower account. You want your page to become a forum. So when I write tweets, the reason why the algorithm organically blows them up, I have a tweet that got like 8 million views a couple days ago. It's because there's so many comments and there's debates in the comments, which means there's so many people that are visually on my tweet for a long time. And they're talking, they're getting engaged, they're getting like in a little fight or discussion in it. And that's why these tweets organically go viral. So I think comment under comments. I wrote an email recently about this underrated strategy. And what Save Your Sons is saying is like the only thing you need to know if you're ever thinking about from engagement perspective is getting people to spend time on your tweets. Travis says this call is worth whatever I paid All Gravy from here. We have 30 days of this, Travis. You are being mentored by the biggest, smartest accounts on Twitter, guys. We share everything we know with you. That's why we have people they just want to hang out. Some people come back and join CPP just to hang out and talk with us. I'm not even joking around, just to get to hear about how we think and what we think. All right. Any other questions? Drop them in the chat. I've got a little bit more time if you want to continue to talk. Oh, I just noticed there's a comment that actually calls me out for creating content that gets clicks. Oh, wow. I guess they're on to me, Save Your Sons. This is BS engagement farming. I don't actually call it like that. I actually don't even think of it like that. I create content that gets people to think about what I'm like. If you can almost like predict my tweets in a way. It's kind of like one of the angles that I try to go for. This isn't no. People are compelled to write. It hits a nerve. That's what it is.
Also just such another loser mindset.
It is a loser mindset.
This is BS engagement. Like, no, this is intentionally trying to drum up traffic because that's what I do. and traffic is money. And the more, like, if I get 5 million people to see my tweet, 500,000 of them, 10% of them would probably be interested in my offer. They're now aware of me. They weren't aware of me before. They are now. And that's why you create content like this. This is BS to drum up engagement. What do people think we're doing? Of course, that's what we're doing. We're trying to drum up traffic to our businesses because that's how the online businesses work. So when you see haters and losers like that, just know that they're absolutely building nothing of their own. They're doing nothing worthwhile. They're sitting on the sideline. They've never stepped into the arena for a day in their life, and they're getting their jollies, they're getting their rocks off by throwing rocks at people who are actually doing something.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because he's commenting under my post in a way to draw attention to his offers as well, which is kind of funny. So attention is everything, guys. Being able to capture attention is everything. Keith's got a good question here. What's the best time to promote products on your feed? Now, and this falls into the categories. I can't answer this question. Whenever you have a fan base that is feverishly into what you do and what you talk about, that's when you promote offers. Okay. So that could be at 100 followers, 200 followers, 300, 1,000, 400,000. Now I do want to say this. I don't promote much on my feed, if you've noticed. I'll write a tweet occasionally to promote CPP. That's my pinned tweet. And usually I'm posting stuff that gets people. I use my feed as more like a top of the funnel. So we talk about art, we talk about purpose, we talk about things that I'm interested in a compelling way. And I occasionally will promote a free lead magnet or my email list onto my page. Eddie Kwan does the same thing as well. And then on my in my emails and in my communities, I'll talk more about what I actually do. It's like a behind the scenes look. So, to answer your question, Keith, it depends on, you can promote a product with 5 followers. I don't know if I would actually do that. I would just get myself to grow like over 1,000 or 2,000. And then I would promote offers. I call them offers instead of products onto your timeline. So, that it all has to do with people are looking at you as an authority on a particular subject. All right. Rick's got a question here. Should we focus on DMs before tweets? Should we focus on DMs before if we are less than 1,000 followers? The answer is both. And Rick, I want to say this is I don't wake up and go, I never approach my business like this. I don't look at it like there's like a checklist of things to do. I just do stuff. I just do what I need to do. So if I'm sitting there thinking like, I need to DM 23 people today. If I don't DM 23 people and I only DM 22, I'm a failure. What you should really be doing is looking to make deep connections with people. So if that means you DM'd 1 or 2 people who commented underneath your posts or who liked your posts or who you're interested in making connections with, that's great. Okay. Because I'd rather have, I like this Al Capone quote, and I bet Save Your Sons would like it too. 4 quarters is worth more than 100 pennies. Okay. I love this quote. I would rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. And you should too. Okay. So, so I don't focus on DMing, much. And I only connect with people who I'm really interested in, but you can connect. I would connect more with the people who are in here as opposed to connecting with a bunch of randos on Twitter. So Kay is asking, is email marketing better than promoting on there is no better, Kay. It's the one that makes you more money. You have to decide later on, are you going to use your Twitter page for traffic or are you going to use it to promote an offer? I would tell you the people who make the most money online have an email list, which is why our lessons are going to focus later on email lists, okay? Do you purposely withhold your offer to convey scarcity? Oh, Ryan, this is an awesome question. You sound like a copywriter. I like this one. This is a really great question. The answer is I don't purposely do that, okay? That's just what happens. And I'll tell you this. I had a call with Chris Do that we did in a former CPP. It was fantastic. And Chris Do rarely promotes any of his offers onto his timeline. And you ultimately want to build a business where people come to you, okay? And what I mean by this is I have people coming to me all the time. Like, AOP, do you take one-on-one? Can you do this? Can you work with me here? Or can I learn Twitter growth from you or content from you or how to do this from you? I have people come to me. I don't DM anyone. I'm not saying not to DM anyone. I say to DM people. But I'm in a position with my business, and ultimately you need to be where people are coming to you and they're walking in the door. Why is this important? I'll tell you why. You can charge a lot more. That's why. That's why. I'm not saying not to get on call. People come to me, all right? And that's the way I built my business. So there's a lot of this. Paul Ennis, I believe. I'm trying to remember his name. He's got a great book that I read last summer. The Sell Without Pitching Manifesto. Great book that I read. But that's pretty much the mentality that I hold. I'm not saying not to go and DM people. Travis is sending I understand this post is that a post under my post? Or is that a post under your post? The cheap engagement to make comments and this thing, it worked. Okay. Well, they can ignore my tweets. Dr. Raphael says, so you don't advocate, this is not what I said, guys. So you don't advocate Dan Koh's cold DM approach? No, I didn't take a stance on that. I'm saying that you can cold DM. If you see somebody on the timeline that you know would make a great client, why would you not DM them? Tatiana says, Ben Settle uses this quote all the time. Ben Settle is one of my all-time favorites. What's the quote? Tatiana, can you tell me what is the quote? What's the quote? Is it that you want people to come to you? What was my quote? The quarter quote. Oh, he uses the Al Capone quote. 4 quarters is worth more than 100 pennies. I think I saw that in one of the movies. Blair Ennis, Win Without Pitching Manifesto. Okay, very cool. We're good. Tatiana knows her stuff. I can tell already. I could tell Tatiana. Yeah, I've posted that quote onto my Twitter timeline before, and it didn't really get great engagement. So, I still left it up there because I think it's such a great quote. I should write an email about it because it's so true. Save Your Sons has got to be all good, guys. Any other questions that y'all have? Going to be a great month. I agree with you. It's going to be a great month. If y'all have to run, that's fine. I am going to put a recording of this inside of our lounge. It's going to be inside the lounge. By the way, the lounge is the place where we can lounge, where we can greet each other in the mornings as the legends that you are. Want to chat it up with people? The lounge is the place to be. Rick says, I'm in a rare situation. I get to ghostwrite for a big name, publish books which are required for Silicon Valley. Looking forward to how to utilize it. I mean, you're in a great position. If you've ghostwritten for a big name, our last guest for the last CPP in April was a ghostwriter. His name is Joshua Lysick. He was our big name guest for that, and he's written for some of the, you probably have a book written in your house by Joshua Lysick. Oh, I missed this one. What would you do differently if you had started from zero again? Okay, it's kind of like a complicated question. I'm going to give you a horrible answer, and the answer is nothing. I would change nothing. I would be, in fact, I'd almost be afraid to, everything has been nothing but net. I love the question though, because I think it's a good mental assignment. I'm not knocking that question. I think it's a good mental assignment to look, to think every once in a while and to ponder, what would I do? It's what would you do differently in your life if you could do it all over again? I saw this meme. It was like, Sana, am I taking the easy way out? Am I ducking the question? I saw this meme that reminds me of this, right here. Would you restart your life at 6 years of age with all the knowledge you have now, or 10 million cash? I guess I'm the guy that would take the 10 million cash, but you could be like, you could make so much more money if you were to go back in time. And yeah, I know that, right? Like it would be like it would be OP, right? What's that movie? Back to the Future, where Biff goes back with the almanac. Yeah, you have all the knowledge. Of course you can leverage it, but I would lose all of the experiences that I would have in life would just go poof away, and those are who I am, you know? So it wouldn't be real. Life wouldn't be real anymore. So I would just take the 10 million. I would this is the only time I would ever take the blue pill, guys. So
I think it's a better question to that, because I love that answer. I wouldn't change a thing. I probably ask you, like, what was the biggest mistake you think you made, and how would you have done it differently in your growth? And I think that might pinpoint some like event.
Okay.
And I remember the one with Dan Coe, but I don't know if you have a different one.
Okay. So yeah, you're mentioning that Dan Coe story that I often tell. My biggest mistake is this. I used to get upset when people would, take my stuff. Like it would start with a tweet. Like for instance, I wrote a thread that went viral like a long time ago called like the 7 Sins of Money Twitter. It was like funny. It was like a post that, I was posting like me, and then I like saw somebody else do it, like the exact same thing, almost the exact same hook, stealing it. Or, I released my course and then I would see other people release a similar course. Or I used to have a scarcity mindset when it came to content creation. And I think that was a hurdle for me. And it's a natural hurdle. One of the questions that I get asked by so many people come to me and be like, I saw somebody steal my tweet. Who cares? Who cares? I posted a tweet once, and then Naval came in there and got upset that I took a tweet that was similar to his. And it was like something like, I think I wrote a tweet once. If you think the news is fake, wait till you think about history, or something like that. And I don't know, I was just sitting on my couch and that idea came to my mind. So I tweeted it. And then somebody pointed out to me Naval's alt tweeted that once, like 4 years ago. And I was like, how am I even supposed to know? Like, I don't know. That's just how Twitter works. Like sometimes people genuinely come up to the same ideas, like stream through their mind that may have gone through somebody else's mind. That happens. Or somebody else is doing something that's similar to yours. Who cares? That's good, because in a way it's going to force you to do a better job. And that's what I learned. I learned that I really had nothing to be afraid of. And so what it really was fear talking. When I would get upset about somebody taking a tweet or doing something similar to me, that was coming from an angle of fear. And, now I just look at stuff, and if I see somebody posted a meme of mine, like Save Your Sons had this. This is a very funny thing that happened. Save Your Sons posted a meme, right? And 2 days later, another account copied and pasted his meme, and Elon Musk commented underneath it. And I thought it was so funny. I was in a group chat with Save Your Sons, and I was like, I thought for a second Save Your Sons got a comment from, this is it right here. I'm actually going to screenshot it right here because I have it, because I was teasing Save Your Sons about it. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Somebody copied and pasted his meme. And I've actually seen other meme people come to me and be like, that meme that you took, it's like, it's a meme. Like, who cares? That's what we do. It's like, it's fun. As long as you leave in the watermark I think that's fine. I think that's cool as well. There was a whole brouhaha on Twitter. If you guys remember 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a huge content creator. I'm not really going to get too much into it, that accused another content creator of stealing his ideas. I'm going to tell you that did not work out for him. And when I was observing it, I thought it was just so silly. But a part of me also realized as well, I'm just being honest with you, I was at that point. I was at a stage, in my early stage of Twitter, where I would literally get upset over somebody taking an idea or something that I've done. And, that's fine. I've learned to more approach it like the way J.K. Molina says, and I really like this quote: Twitter is really just saying the same thing 1,000 different ways. That's really all that we do on Twitter. Travis has a comment. The Creative Act by Rick Rubin explains how people come up with the same similar stuff now and then. It's common. That's one of the reasons, Travis, why speed matters too. You know, I came up with the idea for doing, I'll tell you a funny story. Back in 2021, I had the idea of releasing Twitter templates to go along with the course Create 24/7. It was going to be, you know, a guide on how to write tweets. It will be like all templates, so like a beginner can pick it up and start writing templates. I was mowing my lawn when I was thinking about this, back when I used to mow my lawn. And I was like, I got to write this. I'm going to do this, but I've got to do this XYZ with Masterclass first, and I'll get around to it next month. Lo and behold, 1 week later, and I had not talked to this about with anybody, J.K. Molina comes up with the idea to release templates with Ed Lattimore. And I'm sitting there like, I messaged J.K. as soon as he started talking about it. And I was like, JK, I literally had this idea called 101 Ways to Write a Tweet. I swear I hadn't started on it. I hadn't even worked on it at all. I'm actually going to delay the release of this guide, you know, so it doesn't conflict with you. Like I coordinated with him. But speed matters, Travis, because often like people will come up with the exact same. I think it was like the race to the airplane, you know, like all this technological advancements that are out there. There's like almost a race to get it done sometimes because multiple people will like observe life and come to the same conclusions about what people need. And, you know, that's what happens. Ash says, do you ever leverage AI to craft your tweets? No, I don't use AI hardly for anything. The only AI thingy that I use is occasionally I will use Pro Writing Aid. I guess if you consider that AI, if like I have a sentence and it's just not working out very well, I'll right click on it and it will rephrase it for me. And sometimes it comes off a little bit cleaner. So everything that I do, I don't want AI to be much in what I do because now, and you could say, is that even really AI? I don't know. Like Get Paid Writing likes to tell me that's a gateway drug to AI. I don't use ChatGPT. I don't use any of this stuff because I understand how important making connections with people is and authenticity is on Twitter. Oh, I cringe when I say that word, Sana. But, you know, I'm not a fan of using AI because all of the writing just feels generic when you're writing. You're not really learning about your audience and you're not really gaining any chops. Like if you want to get good, good enough to build a following, build enough to build fans, build enough to, you know, get people who are going to hit buy on the buy button. You can't write, you can't do any of this stuff. So if you've noticed, guys, in my emails, I am writing emails 2 or 3 times per day, right? And Tatiana, a lot of that's from Eddie Kwan and Ben Settle, right? And I really stepped up my email marketing game. I don't use ChatGPT to write my emails. That's not going to write copy that people are going to slam the buy button. I've had my best 2-3 months writing emails from an email marketing perspective because I need to learn the chops. Does that make sense? And AI takes away the chops part. It takes away the connection. It takes away the marketing and the research part. It takes away the powerful parts that you can get from building an audience, and it cuts you off at the knees. Kay says, honestly, I get upset about it, but that's because someone used half of my tweets to get it to count to 2,000. How do you get around that? You get over it, dude. Get over it, Kay. If somebody used something that you do, okay, what that was a signal is that you didn't use it well enough. I want to reiterate that to you. So one time I saw somebody, I wrote a thread once about, you know, I became a millionaire at age 30, blah, blah, blah. Here are things I would tell my younger self. I came up with this thread once, okay? I saw like 10 people immediately rewrite that thread. And then I look at some of their rewrites and I go, wow, that was like a better take, or I missed. It was a missed opportunity for me, or maybe I'm not talking enough with my audience. But people who get, there's no other way to say it, butt hurt over what somebody else is, they're not focusing enough on their customers and they're not focusing enough on their business part. Sana says, you can tell when somebody writes with AI. Yes. Yeah. And then somebody might go, well, one day, go ahead, Sana, you want to elaborate on that?
wanted to elaborate that because I have an experience with this. So I think the first CPP I did, I came out with a thread that got me a lot of friends outside of CPP. Like really connected me with a lot of people. It was all about niche of one, something that I'm going to teach you guys in the coming lessons this week. And I remember sharing it with a larger creator, and the larger creator then, like, turned it into an offer, and they turned it into a thing, and then they started talking about it, and I was like, how they're like, there's a couple of people on here on Twitter, and I don't know if they're bros or whatever you would call them, but they just tend to uh encourage one another when they do that. Like if a guy says one thing and then in the Twitter spaces a guy says the same exact thing in a couple of different words, and they were like, yeah, bro, I love that. It's totally it something about that like didn't register with me. I'm like, why are we saying new things? Why are we saying things that are something that's filtrated through our own mind? And I couldn't let it go for a while until later on when I realized the same thing that you were saying, AOP, is that I could have done it better and I didn't. What I did was I shared a thread. I never turned it into an offer. And that's what I was irritated with. I wasn't irritated with the big creator. Big creator's fine. They're doing well. They think I'm great. Like they don't have any ill thoughts about me, but they think that, I think that a thing what I was like, I really want to create an offer. I really want to make this into a thing. And that got me into the road of starting a program, diving really deep and like giving people the actual value that I thought was missing around this stuff. I only talked about a pinpoint of something,
Yeah.
and that helps somebody create an offer. Like, what can I do now that I'm focused on it, right? So totally with you, AOP.
Yeah, it's a sign of maturity as well. Like, and I get a lot of people, they'll message me, oh, so and so did this. They took my thread and they turned it into well, you should have done that, right? That's something that you should have done. So, I don't get mad when I see somebody XYZ doing something. Now, hey, look, I'll double down and triple down, and sometimes that motivates me to work harder. That's fine. Like if somebody comes up with, something that is very similar to like Create 24/7 or something like that, that'll push me. I'll use that as motivation. Or somebody comes up with something similar to CPP. Well, that means, man, I'm going to double, triple down, quadruple down and make this the best experience for my customers. I don't sit around and get upset about it and say, I'm going to quit Twitter because so-and-so did XYZ. Anyway, I'm going to get off of this. Elliot's got a question. What's the best strategy for accounts starting under 500 followers? You need to be seen. We're going to be talking all about, you need to pay attention to our digital real estate lessons that are going to be coming up for the next few days. Put your profile in the best position possible. You need to start reaching out to other people, and you need to start tweeting consistently. We'll be opening up engagement rooms as well. We're going to have engagement rooms. I'll actually be sending engagement to the best tweets that I see. We'll have a boost room that will be set up in a bit. And it's going to be a lot of fun seeing everybody grow with each other. But don't get bent out of shape. We're on day one, guys. We're just getting to know y'all. And this is a bit of a reminder. Make sure you go to the events channel and click interested. I cannot believe there are only 17 people that have done this. Like, I just can't believe this. This is the most important tab in the entire server. Go to the events tab right now. Click interested on every single one of them. Make sure that you're seeing that it'll show it to you in your time zone. Tomorrow we're going to have a session at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time where I'm going to have a discussion about you. We've been talking today, but tomorrow is about you. I want to hear about what your dreams are, what your aspirations are, where you want to go with your Twitter. I may be able to give you some feedback right on the spot that's going to get you moving towards the right direction. Sana says, what other people say or do is not worth killing your momentum. I cannot agree with that more. Oh, we've got a Joey Justice in the house. Joey, my main man, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing excellent. I'm fresh off of another call, and I'm glad that I have time to be here with all of you all wonderful people.
I love it. Joey, what's the one big tip that you would tell our CPP freshman members? How can they get the most out of this cohort?
So let me break.
I think we lost Joey. This is so funny. Or I think Joey like muted himself. Joey's on mute. Joey, you hit like mute for yourself. You there?
Yes, I am remuted again. Awesome. Yeah, it's great to be here. So the biggest tip that I would have for people is to make it sustainable. And by that I mean, think about the fact that you are here in CPP because you want to build something you're going to be working on for months, for years, or probably even decades, right? So like me, AOP, Eddie Kwan, Save Your Sons, Get Paid Writing, Sana, the other people who are, providing the lessons in this cohort, we plan on doing this stuff for a long time. We may not necessarily be doing what we're doing right now for years because my brand's evolved over time. I'm sure other people in here, like their brands have too, but we're going to be doing stuff related to social media and online entrepreneurship for a very long time. So it won't happen tomorrow. It'll take time, right? Like CPP is going to put you light years ahead. It's going to help you achieve your goals so much faster. But again, you're going to be doing this stuff for a long time. So make sure over time, as you're adding new habits and action items and KPIs and SOPs and stuff like that, adding new actions to your daily routine, you're doing it in a sustainable way. Because the last thing you want is to get burnt out and then get frustrated, get resentful, and then see your new venture as just another job. I've been there. It sucked. I wish I had, a mirror image of me to tell me to, handle that in a different way. So that's one tip. And then the other tip to get the most out of it is network. And specifically ask questions. So I've been a part of, I've been part of CPP for the past year and a half, 2 years. I don't know specifically, but I've been a part of many of these. I've done cohorts with people like Dakota Robertson and Dan Coe. I'm about to do a cohort of my own related to productivity and performance. And the number one thing that separates the people who actually succeed and get results from the people who, join the cohort but leave it without really getting anything out of it is the people who participate, but more so ask questions, because there's going to be a lot of information. I personally am going to be providing some of that information. There's going to be lessons every day. So it can feel like a lot. You're going to get stuck. You're going to feel confused. You're going to feel like some things contradict. But you've got to ask questions, because the more that you ask questions, the more that us mods can actually help you. If you don't ask questions, we don't know if you're stuck on something. We don't know how we can help you. So never be afraid of asking questions and being like, hey, how do I do this thing? How do I implement? Ask in the lesson channel, because there's a dedicated channel for every lesson. Just ask hey, you said this thing 10 minutes in, but I'm not really sure how to implement that. How would you do that in my case? Just ask. Because chances are, just like your teacher told you in high school and college, if you have the question, other people probably do too. So you're not alone. You're not stupid. You're not behind. Just ask the question, because it's better to be the person who asks the question and then gets educated than be the person who refuses to ever ask a seemingly dumb question.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. There's one thing I haven't given my biggest tip, and this just reminded me I need to give you guys my biggest tip. Is when you are, one of the best ways to attain mastery in the last step of the Feynman technique is to teach another person what you know. So what we're going to be doing over the next few days is we're going to be doing lessons that are going to be all on, branding, picking your niche. We're going to get your digital real estate going. Then we're going to talk about creating content. Then we're going to be talking about monetization. And once you feel like you've gotten a grasp on this, let's say that you make big strides in your personal branding, there might be another brother or sister inside of the CPP cohort. You know so much more. You're going to learn so much more than the average Twitter user over the next 30 days in multiple subject areas. Help another person out. And that's where you're going to attain that true mastery. I taught public school for 20 years, and some of the best teachers that I ever met were some of the other kids because they just overcame that obstacle. So what you can do is help another person out, and you're not only going to take your knowledge to the next level, but you're going to help somebody alongside with you. You're going to make a friend. You're going to network. That's the best way to do it. So Joey, I love all of those comments. Can you believe, I think every single mod told you guys to network, which is hilarious. But I am going to be wrapping things up if I don't see any more questions. I've been talking for 90 minutes straight. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. I'm going to need something for tomorrow. If you're in this chat, I want you all to finish with one thing that you learned from this session today. What is one big thing that you learned? Post it in the chat. I'm going to read the best ones out. One big thing that you learned. Post it right here. And, this will help you retain. This will help you retain. It's going to go inside of your memory bank. Tatiana says, be consistent. Yes. If you want to make it on this platform, you need to show up every single day. Travis says, network with intention. I love that last part. Keith says, build relationship. Copy Stu says, network with intention, take action. I guess that's stuck in people's minds. That's not the usual networking advice. Ash says, action, action, action. Kay says, make people come to you. Yes, ultimately. I'm not saying that you're going to need to do that right now and today, but ultimately you should be building a forum where people are coming to you as the expert. Ryan says, you are never finished. That is correct. Tatiana mentioned Ben Settle earlier. I'm learning every single day, guys. I have one of Ben Settle's books on my desk right now. When I have downtime, I read. I am always learning new things because I know I'm never finished. As an artist, there's no such thing as finished. That's the human condition. Red says, anon or not, just don't bring it up to save your sons. That is great. We've got one thing, lead with value. Another is don't get caught up on the numbers of doing stuff for the sake of it. Yeah. The importance of tweeting engagement time. Yes. Yeah. Time spent on your tweet matters. Kay says, teach what you learn. I love it, y'all. All right. I'm going to wrap things up. I'm going to go have dinner with my family tonight. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm going to come back at you fresh tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock. Make sure you head to that events tab. I cannot stress it enough. By the way, you can reach out to me at any point at Creation at 24/7 on Telegram. You can also, one other question I guess, will it be recorded? Every single thing in this cohort is going to be recorded. You can make a handy dandy folder for yourself. And as you come along to each session, the way that you get access to the recording for download is on each video, unless it's on Loom, which that'll have an option for Loom as well. Some of the content creators here like to post the videos on Loom, but the ones that I'm going to post have a download button directly on it. You may have to be on Discord on your desktop, by the way. I don't know if that's available on phone, but you may have to go there. If you just go to there's a big old download. You can just, download each video and you could put it in a folder. You could put lesson 1, go through it, and you can label them as you please. There's going to be so much going on inside of these walls. I hope you're excited, y'all. This is going to be the best CPP ever. I know they say that every time, but every single time it gets better with the people that are around us. All right, I'm going to leave you for today. I've been talking for a while. I'm going to be back at tomorrow, and we'll be talking at 11 o'clock tomorrow. That's going to be our lesson. A live session with y'all. We're going to have a clarity session. Have a great and fantastic rest of your Wednesday. I will talk to each and every single one of you later.